We are in chapter 14. We are at the... Yes.
I missed quite a bit.
You missed it quite a bit. Chapter 14.
Samson was just born right before this.
Samson was not yet born. Oh, no, he was... Right, he was born. I'm sorry. Yeah, he was born, and now he's growing up. Okay? So now what happens is... Remember, he was... Samson is, of course, a Nazir from birth. He's a Nazir from birth. And... he's going to be the next savior. Well, not savior. Judge. Thank you. I think what I was talking about. We went to saviors already.
Talking about Christianity.
Right. That's right. So he's the next. He's going to be the next judge, and he's going to save the people. That's why God savior. Okay. So it says, "Vayered Shimshon Timnata." So Shimshon went down from Timnah. V'yar Isha, and he saw a woman b'Timnata in Timnah. Mibnot Plishtim. He saw a woman from the daughters of Plishtim. Okay, so what happens is, very, very quickly, the Malbim says, V'yar Isha b'Timnati, he saw a woman in Timnah. He says, Yotzi Tzipora, we go from the way the story is going, Kihaya, that is all from Hashem. Why? Why is everything that's about to happen from Hashem? So the Malbim explains. Because he only saw her with his eyes. He never spoke to her. So he didn't know whether it was, in other words, so he didn't know to consider whether it was good in his eyes because he didn't speak with her, and maybe she wouldn't want him. Nothing. Or maybe her father wouldn't want him, or maybe she wouldn't want to convert. So all these things. He sees a woman, that's the way it works. You see a woman and you want to know that woman. Okay, Vaya'al. And he went up, and he went up and he told his mother and his father. You're going to love the story here. And he said, I saw a woman in Timnah, from the daughters of the Plishtim, and now, now take her for me, for a woman, for a wife, sorry. Kechu is a language, just so we should understand what he's saying. Kechu is a language of marriage. I want you to be kohen her. I want you to acquire her for me, for a wife. So he tells his mom and dad, guess what? I found my wife to be. I saw her, didn't talk to her, didn't discuss this with her, didn't go out with her once, but I saw her and I want you to go and get her to be for me for a wife. So what happens is, again, the Malbim says, when he says, I saw her, he says, I didn't speak with her, I just saw her, and now take her for me. He doesn't even say please, by the way, he just says, take her to me, for your wife. In other words, he's saying, see if she's desirous for this sort of thing. Go to her and ask her. So he basically is asking his parents to set him up for a shidduch, for a date. That's really what he's asking. Okay, now, if you notice, twice already, we've the story is told that she's from Benot Pelishtim. What was the daughters of Pelishtim, the Philistines? So, why does the Torah why does the Tanach have to keep pushing that point?
It must be important.
Well, yeah, but why is it important? Who are the Pelishtim at this point? They were the people who were oppressing them. They were the oppressors. So he's saying, I saw a girl from amongst the oppressors. So now the question is, well, why would Hashem set it up that this guy likes that girl? That this Jewish character who's going to be a judge of Israel and want to start saving the Jewish people, why is he setting him up with a woman who is from the daughters of the Pelishtim? It's not a Jewish woman. And that's what the father and mother say. Vayomer lo avivimo, and his father and his mother said to him, Ha'en bevenot achecha uvechol amei isha, is there not amongst the daughters of your brothers and all of the nation in all of my nation a woman? Ki ata holech lakachet isha, that you go to take a woman from the uncircumcised Palestinians, Philistines. Vayomer Shimshon el Aviv Oto. So Shimshon said to his father, Okach Otakachli, take her from me. Ki he yashra be'enai, because she is just in my eyes. So what's the questions on that pasuk, by the way? Okay, I'm going to do this again. Grammatic. You should see from grammar.
He never answers the question.
Who doesn't?
The father and mother ask, is there nobody, no woman among the daughters of your brothers, and among all, that you
and my
that you want to
nation,
take this wife from
right?
me? Yeah. And he says, take her from me,
Right.
because I like her. He never answers.
She's just in my
answer
eyes.
the
No,
question.
she's. The answer is she's right in my eyes. That would be the answer to his
Is
question.
there no woman among our own people? And he never answered that.
Right. So he's saying.
He said, just take her.
No, he's saying no. The end part is take her from me because she's just in my eyes. She's perfect in my eyes.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
the answer is no. There's nobody that's perfect in my eyes besides her. She's perfect. I lost her. I'm using that word very strongly. I lost her, and therefore that's all I want. But besides that, what's the problem in the verse? Vayomer lo avivi imo. What should it say? Should it say Vayomer lo?
They said to him.
Oh, so what should it be?
Oh, Vayomru?
Vayomru. That's the first question.
Oh.
It should say Vayomru lo avivi imo. And then it says, Ha'em bevenot achecha v'chol ami, Isha. Is there not amongst the daughters of your brothers and in all of my nation? Well, what's going on? Why you have double? Just say either amongst your brothers or say in all the nation. Why do you have to say both?
Is it the Philistine? This is in Canaan. This is in, where is this?
They're in Israel.
Okay.
They're in Israel. They're in Timnah.
Oh, so that is part of
It's part of Israel.
Okay, that.
Right.
Huh, okay.
So those are your questions you're asking. Now, the interesting thing is that nobody talks about the first question, why it doesn't say Vayomru, because that you have to know Chumash for. That you have to understand in Chumash that the father is the one who is really talking to him, but his father and mother. So, because the father will become the main character, he's the one who's going to have to go and negotiate with the girl. So when it comes to a main character sort of thing, we're using that sort of thing. Or it could be a collective voice. It's another way to answer it. It's Vayomer lo. It's collectively the father and mother agreed and they were one unit.
As a unit, okay.
Okay, that would be two ways to answer that.
Okay.
The other stuff.
Nobody comments on that.
No, because like I said, it was commented earlier in Chumash.
Okay.
So in the Chumash it talks about, so they don't have to repeat over and over. They assume that you remembered it over there. You learned it once, you don't have to learn it again. Okay. So the Malbim says, on the question, are there not enough, is there not daughters amongst your brothers? And even if there's not amongst your brothers, Isha, about in your nation a woman. In other words, that's what he's saying, that you have to go to the Philistine. Shehem Sorim, they are the ones who are causing us, oppressing us. Harelim, the ones who are uncircumcised. And he says, take her from me. Not only this, but Vadai Ratsa Shikayer, but certainly she has to want to convert. After since he wanted that they take her for him to be a wife, she kicha b'derech nesuyim. When he says kicha, means she has to convert, because kicha is a language of acquiring her for a wife. The only time you can have kedushin, a marriage, is if both people are of the same religion, if you will. In this situation, in other words, a Jew cannot marry religiously a non-Jew. There's no device to do that. You understand what I'm saying? There's no device. Halachically, there's no device. So what happens is, if a Jew can marry a Jew, a non-Jew can marry a non-Jew, there's devices for that. But when it's not the other way, you can't intermarry and have it legally recognized.
By halacha.
By halacha, yeah, of course.
Yep.
In American law, you can do it. You can marry anything. So it's not wrong. Yeah.
Now, is that in the text itself, or is that being retrofitted?
No, that's in the text itself.
How do you get that out of the text?
Because of the language kach. Kach, we know that from before again. This is in the Torah. That's what I'm saying. A lot of this is from the Torah. That the language it continues. So it says ki kach it isha. When a man marries a woman, takes a woman for marriage, that's in the Torah. So anytime we see the word kach in human relations, it means to either convince or to marry. If it's man or woman, to marry. If it's saying take her with you, take him with you, you can't forcibly take somebody, so you convince them to go.
Okay, so where does, in the Torah, where does it show conversion then?
No. In other words, conversion is, again, because she's a non-Jew.
Okay.
So if he's saying kachli, I want to marry her, the only way he can marry her is to have, that they're both the same. So he's Jewish, she has to become Jewish. Otherwise, the marriage doesn't work. It's a legal language.
That's what I'm asking. Where does that come from in the Torah?
It's coming from, I believe, Exodus.
Okay.
I believe Exodus.
It's the same. I forget. I've looked at that before too. I can't remember. About the. Oh no, maybe I'm thinking about where, in order to be, where the mother has to be Jewish. So that's a
that's a different thing.
Yeah.
That's a different thing. Here we're saying here's a legal. This is a legal language. Kachli, kach is a language of acquisition.
People, if you're saying that language with people, that means take for marriage.
If it's male and female,
it's still the same.
No. If it's take the table, it means acquire. There's all language of acquiring, and again, you have to be able to acquire. Okay. If I can't acquire, I can't acquire. And like I said, a non-Jew cannot acquire a non-Jew cannot acquire a Jew.
Did we learn the word just to like say, take that to move it?
Right, but I'm saying the legal language. Right, it means acquire.
So in other words,
I'm taking it. I'm acquiring.
I'm not going to take that and move it across the room in that language. What's another word?
No, I would. I certainly could do that. But when I pick it up, I'm taking equity. In other words, what happens? I pick that up and I break it. Who's responsible?
Oh, so that's yours, yeah.
It's mine. I did it. I took it. I took responsibility. We have that in English too. I took responsibility. I acquired the responsibility.
So I'm saying, if you just wanted to move the chair across the room, you wouldn't say, I'm going to take it. You would say, there's another word.
You should move it.
Transfer it, whatever.
Right.
Okay, got it.
Right.
Yeah, there's some other questions.
Yeah, please.
The word isha means woman, but it also means wife.
Yes.
Is that strictly context that tells you the difference? I wouldn't say, go get a woman for me.
No, that means you're getting a wife. If you say take a woman for me, that means a wife. If you say bring the woman, hey, that just means bring the woman. That's a different thing. But if I'm using the language of kach as a isha, I mean I'm saying acquire that woman for me or whatever.
And why does he ask his parents to do it? Why doesn't he just go take the woman?
Because it's not nice. Really, it wouldn't be proper. So they have to negotiate the price. The father is the one who's going to negotiate the price. He doesn't want to negotiate the price. First of all, he has to meet her and see if he likes her. So he's saying, see if she wants to go out with me. It's very embarrassing to be shot down on you.
So basically, he's doing
By the way, you should. It wasn't that long ago that you wouldn't have gone up to a young lady and said, how you doing? It wasn't that long ago. Maybe in the 50s or 40s, you would have been considered a pickup artist. I don't know what they would call that, but you would a scoundrel. You would have been considered a scoundrel.
Maybe you wouldn't ask your parents, but you would find a mutual.
Right, you find somebody to ask. You introduce me. Yeah. It wasn't. What are you picking up? Somebody from the bar? You're a lowlife. So it would always be you want introductions. Okay. So that's only recently that we're willing to go and put ourselves out there. And when for something like that,
single men and women have left their parents' home as single and getting their own place, so that makes society different.
The reason why I asked this question is there's a lot of conflict in the story. he shouldn't be going to get a Philistine woman in the first place. Now he's asking his parents to sanction something
Yes.
that he shouldn't be doing.
Well, he's saying convert. Ask her. Make sure she's willing to go with me, and then she has to be willing to convert. By the way, this is this I want to say last week when you weren't here. See, we're doing this the second week in a row. Doing this very same story. And Bill gets the option to see it twice. But this is the famous in the late part of last century, 70s and 80s, where 60s through 80s actually, when intermarriage was on the rise. Still in all, people were trying to always convert the non-Jewish partner to become Jewish. So you go to Reform, you go to Conservative. They hardly ever went to Orthodox because who's going to take them at that point? So nobody's going to do that. But the whole thing was that the parents would say, you can marry her, but only her, as long as she converts. And we don't care what kind of conversion, just get a conversion. We don't care. So, because they wanted quote unquote Jewish grandchildren. So, but it was very big for that. So here you're seeing, the son saying, I know that's important to you. You can hear it that way. I know it's important to you, so make sure she won't convert, because I want you to take her legally, get the rabbi involved, we'll have a big simcha, and so on and so forth. That's what he seems to be saying. Now, there's a whole reason behind this that we're going to learn in a few minutes. That's the important part of the story. The parents don't know what's going on. They think they lost their son. He's just seeing a girl, like I said, pure lust. I see the girl, I see Cheryl Teagues, for those who remember Cheryl Teagues in the 80s or whatever it was, and wow, she's a beautiful girl, that's the girl I want. Or Bo Derek, whatever, all these...
She must have been beautiful.
Beautiful girl. By the way, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
let's understand that too. Because you may have thought she's beautiful, I would think she's ugly. Who knows? Who knows what Samson was really looking at? And so, but we're assuming he saw something he liked. And the question is, how could such a person, who is again going to be the judge of the Jewish people, how can he be allowing himself to do this sort of thing? That's really the question that's going on in this story. That's the background. This guy is not a non-religious guy who never learns Torah. He is supposed to be one of the big guys. In other words, if I would have someone who never learned Torah, and he sees a girl, he wants the parents to go, oh, okay, we can have that discussion. And I can tell you why it's not good for the Jewish people, and so on and so forth. But here's a guy who was brought up a Nazir, and so on and so forth. I mean, the father, Manoach, is not an idiot. The father is playing with the big guys. So again, Manoach is not a fool. And so you really have to get into that storyline of saying, why is Shimshon acting in such a manner? Why is it? And again, the Malbim is saying, this is all from Hashem. So why is Hashem playing this game? Okay? That's where it's all coming from. So we can't look at this story as a simple, I see the girl, I want to marry her. It's an intermarriage story, but intermarriage, conversion, easy conversion, if you will, and get it over with. And by the way, conversion was not like it is today either. Conversion would have been probably a little simpler back then, or maybe it would have been harsher, I don't know. But it's not the same as we would have today with the standards of you have to go for a year and so on and so forth. Okay. But she has to be willing to do it. And so what happens? Now here's the key point. His father and his mother, they did not know. Again, we're now back to the Yadu'u instead of Yada. They did not know Kimi Hashem, we're in 4. Okay. They did not know that this whole thing was from Hashem. Ki to'ana hu mevakesh Pelishtim, because he wanted a claim, he was seeking a claim against the Pelishtim. And at that time, the Pelishtim Moshlim Yisrael, the Pelishtim were ruling over Israel. So, any questions there before I tell you what's going on?
The he there that's seeking the pretext.
Right. Who's the he?
Hashem?
Yes. Right. Okay. Good.
Philistine were ruling over Israel.
In that time.
Just on the whole of the land, or just in that spot?
No, the whole Israel. We were under Pelishtim rule.
What happened? Did they just come in and take over? I don't remember this.
There was a war, like everything else. What happens is, remember, the Jews sin. The pattern is we sin.
Yeah. Okay, so
God sends these people. By the way, I always say that when you're learning Shoftim, world events always happens the same way. What happens? The UN declares that Israel is wrong, that blah, blah, blah. They should give back Yerushalayim, which means give back the wall, give back Hebrew University, give back everything else.
The Jewish quarter, I think I heard that mentioned.
I didn't hear the Jewish quarter, but give everything back, and so on and so forth. Actually give it away. You can't say give it back because it was never theirs to begin with. Fine, so give it away. And what happens is, the United States abstains from the vote because, and Kerry gives a whole 72-minute speech about why they've done it. I still have to hear it, so I can't comment on his speech, but I've heard that it's not a good speech. Okay, and so what happens is, now we have and what's even better, if you will, is that UN Council, supposedly, now can actually act upon that proposal, that resolution that was signed, via courts. Now, Israel's not putting up a nice bravado here, saying we don't really care what they say, and I don't doubt that that's how they really feel. But what you're really seeing is, from my point of view, a holy war, Hashem between us. Has nothing to do with anybody else. For all those people who are watching.
Hashem between
us
Hashem and Israel?
Right, Hashem between Hashem and the Jews. That you don't care enough about my homeland, my gift to you. And you're willing to do whatever you want. You want to give away, you want to do this. You know what? I'm going to make it easy for you. I'm going to put it right in front of you. You want to give everything up? Here you go. Now, the only way that that's going to go away, again, this is me speaking, not the world. The only way that I believe it's going to go away is if we all do tshuva and just start caring again and start following. And I've said this class after class after class anyway, but it's a matter of us coming back to Torah. And that's it. If that happens, then this UN resolution, like Ahmadinejad, like Hitler, Yimach Shemo, like everybody else, will go away, flitter into history, and we will never worry about them again because we don't care about them. They make a big noise. And then Hashem says, okay, I scared you enough. I got you what I wanted. Now let's go. And we go forward. That's what's going on here. That's what it says. He wanted a pretext. What's the pretext? So now the Malbim is going with this. And he said, they wanted to not do this. They wanted to stop him from doing this. They want to stop their son from intermarrying, or from even marrying a person who's going to do a shallow conversion. Let's say she does a conversion. By the way, that would have been a shallow conversion too. Let's understand that. No matter what, she was still a Philistine. Okay, you can't change the spot of the leopard. I'm sorry.
And could you go further and say his attraction is for the wrong reason?
Oh, he just likes her for her looks. Yeah, that's always the wrong reason. You can't just marry a girl for her looks. She has to look good to you, but that can be the reason. But the point is that the parents want to stop him because they didn't know it was from Hashem, that it was a pretext. What was the pretext? That Shimshon would get revenge against the Philistine because of what they're going to do to his wife. They're going to marry her to somebody else.
Oh, and he didn't know this either at the time.
Well, he doesn't know what they're going to do. So, but he's going to be able to get revenge against the Philistine. And so he says, Ma shalo siba Hashem siba cheret lezeh. And why didn't Hashem use some other reason for this? So Meishiv, so the answer, because the Philistine ruled over Israel. V'imaya medgara imahem. If Shimshon would have started to kill them off, would have started to rebel against them, what would have happened? Then they would have poured their wrath on Israel. Right? If you're going to get some guy who's going to start some revolution, well, they're going to come and squelch that pretty quickly. And we weren't fitting. Roy is the Hebrew word that I was trying to translate. Roy. We weren't fitting for a total victory because we had sinned. So now I'm not going to give you total victory like I've done before. Now we're just going to give you a limited victory. So what happens if Shimshon would have done this, would have just started the revolution, they would have poured their wrath upon Israel. Lachain sivev sheyakshavu shesina shel Shimon hu ba'avo ishto. Therefore, God made it look like the hatred of Shimshon was all based upon his wife. And not because they were ruling over Israel, his brothers. So you understand? That's the whole trick. If I attack the ruling parties, in other words, I start killing your people because of some personal animosity, then you can't attack the rest of my people. They had nothing to do with this. And they would say, okay, it's because they ripped him off on his wife, and so on and so forth. It was a stupid thing. So we're not going to come against the Jews. We're not going to wipe out the Jews. We want to get this guy. This guy's public enemy number one. That's all. You understand? Very important, because that's what's going to be all the way through this. That's a pretext that Hashem wants. I'll give you a pretext. And like I said, you'll read the newspaper and you'll see guy kills out marriage party. Okay. Okay. Fine. So now what happens? 5. Vayered Shimshon v'aviv imo Timnata. So now, it's a whole family trip. Shimshon, his father and his mother go down to Timnah. V'yavo ad karmei Timnata. And they, again, I'm going to give you, let's look at the grammar again. I'm going to start. Vayered is from the beginning. Vayered is singular. Vayered Shimshon, aviv imo. And again, you would think it should be Yerdu. So what it's telling you is Shimshon is the main character here. So Vayered Shimshon va'aviv imo, fine, Timnata. Vayavo, and they all came. It's no longer one. Could have said Vayavo. If it's looking at main characters only, no. Now they're all came ad karmei Timnata until the vineyards of Timnah. Vihine kafir ariot, and behold, there was a young lion, shoeg likrato, roaring to meet him. What's your question? Obvious questions here.
Meeting them.
Good. Why didn't it say meeting them? What happened to the parents? Okay. So now the Malbim explains. V'yavo ad karmei Timnata. They came to the vineyard of Timnah, and it says Kifia Nira Haya Az Yemei Bikorei Anavim. He says it seems that this was the days of the ripening of the grapes. V'vo'am b'mishol akramim. So when they came to the paths of the vineyards, he came Shimshon derech. Shimshon averted his path. Ke'inyan secho secho amrinu lezira karma lo tikra. Because there's a saying that you tell the Nazir go around the vineyard so he won't take from the fruits by accident. Okay, v'yoto yachid, and when he was alone, so at that point so the parents are going through straight and he's walking around, that's when the lion roared toward him. Kamosha Amru Chazal, Gemira Aryeh Avi, like the rabbis tell us, that the lion will not come out against two people, but he will come out against an individual. So if we would have two people walking, the lion would stay where he was, but one person, he goes for the attack. V'titzlach, so next verse, V'titzlach alav ruach Hashem. So the spirit of Hashem came over him, made him strong. Vayirshas ehu kishas hagidi, and he ripped the lion apart like a goat. Uma emiado, there was nothing in his hand. V'lo higid la'aviv l'imo, and he did not tell his father or his mother, et ashir asa, that which he did. Okay, what are you going to ask me now? What's your questions?
Why didn't he tell his parents?
Why didn't his parents? That's one. Another one? Another one? Why does it say they ripped him apart like a goat? And then why does it say there was nothing in his hand? Okay, what do I care what there was nothing in his hand? Why do I have to know all this information for?
Well, he might have ripped him apart with a big knife or something.
With a sword.
Okay, with a sword. Okay,
just
good.
bare hands.
Good. So now the Malbim explains, and the spirit of Hashem came over him. Haya bezeh gibor kfula, so he was doubling his strength basically. One, that he could rip this lion apart easily, like a gedi. And the name Gedi, the name of goat, teaches that it was the young animal of the house, and therefore it was easy, it was soft to rip apart. That's why it says you shouldn't cook a kid in his mother's milk. Fine. And that's because it's soft. And then it says with nothing in his hand, and that's because Shimshon. And so Shimshon, now this is an interesting argument you're about to hit. Shimshon understood that this was from Hashem. And that they had to meet him in order to that he would recognize his power, and he would know, and that he should be prepared that Hashem is going to let him overpower the enemies. Okay, and therefore he did not tell his father or his mother. So that's one thing. He understood this was a miracle, and he didn't tell his parents, but he knew he was ready to do his job. That's one argument. The other one is, and this is from the Mitzudas David, he said, why didn't he tell his parents? Because it was nothing in his eyes to do this. He was strong eyes, so he ripped them apart. So he said, no big deal. Another reason that's brought down by the Me'am Loez, and this is in your I think it's, who said this? It's a woman. I think it's the Me'am Loez. The Vilna Gaon. It says here. He brings down on page 116 in your book, and at number 6. So he says, and he rented as one would rent a kid. Shimshon tore the lion apart like a kid, which is the smallest domestic animal, which is said, thereby demonstrating his great strength. Hashem designed this incident to inform Samson that he was now ready for battle. Okay, that's the mob. And then it says, the Elshik explains that since the Almighty had only reluctantly conceded to assist Shimshon with this particular method of action, he informed him of his opposition by confronting him with a lion. Furthermore, this took place in the vicinity of the vineyards to impress upon him that his path was in opposition to his holy Nazirite status. Nevertheless, Hashem also showed Shimshon that he would not forsake him, but would rather protect him as evidence of the lion's death. Then he says that he didn't tell his parents. Next page. He did not consider, and I want to go to the Barvanel. Sorry. So the Mitzudas David said, and again we cover this, the fact that he did not was a true indication of his strength and humility. That was the Barvanel. According to the Elshich, he did not tell them because they would certainly not have acquiesced to his wishes, and they would have known that God too had expressed his dissatisfaction. So here, by the way, here's an action. Let's look at the facts. The facts on the ground are, a lion attacks him. He rips apart the lion with his bare hands. Is it Hashem showing? That's the facts. Okay? Now, your interpretation becomes everything. Is it he's humble and he doesn't want to tell his parents? He recognizes that, it's time to start the mission to destroy the enemy? Is it God showing displeasure for the union that is about to happen? And so, then you have to ask on the Malbim, what kind of pretext is this? Okay. Then the pretext would be going on whom? Samson. Then Samson would be the pretext person, not God. So it all depends on who are you putting as the main character here. And that's the language. The language allows for he wanted. Well, who's a he? Is it Hashem or is it Shimshon? If it's Shimshon, so now Hashem is saying, according to the Elshich, you're doing it, you have the right intent, but you're doing it wrong. I'm going to protect you, but you're doing it wrong. And if it's Hashem doing it, and Hashem is setting this whole thing up, so then the Elshich falls away. Okay, so it all depends on how you understand who is building the pretext. Okay, can work either way. Yeah.
Another possibility, if you take it as Samson building the pretext,
Yeah.
the only thing he's focused on is that Philistine woman. He doesn't want to interfere with that trip with any side remarks. In other words, forget about the lion. Let's just go take a look at the woman.
No. If he's using, oh, you missed it. If he's using it as a pretext to marry that woman just so he can get to the Philistines, he doesn't care about the woman. He's using that because everybody understands about a woman. I'm using that pretext if I want to marry her, I want to be with her. She's a Philistine, great. What do I care? Because he's using that as a pretext. I really want you. I could care less about you. You're just a pawn in my game. That's the pretext. It's not that. That's why when he rips the lion apart, he interprets that as, oh, now I'm ready. Hashem is showing me that now it's time. That's it. But it's not, he never cared about the woman. By the way, he never does care about the woman, even with the storyline. We see he really doesn't care about her. Delilah will get him. But this one really, he didn't really care one way or another. He's willing to walk away from her. After he destroys.
Going back to his lust for the woman. That's
Again, I'm using that word. That's my language, lust. Because it says he saw the woman, and he's using that as a pretext. That's the point. He's using it as a pretext. If I follow that he's the pretext guy, so then I'll pick a girl, and I'll make her good looking, by the way. According to all opinions, should be a 10. Okay, why not? Because otherwise, why would I? Although, it's interesting. When you look at some of these stars who pick on these other people who they decide to have adultery with, you're thinking, are you kidding? You gave up that woman for that woman? It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, this person after person, and that's why I say beauty is in the eyes of the beholder at that point. But to me, if you have a 10, you don't go for a 2. But that's what happens. But so you could argue the same thing here. Again, if he's doing the pretext, he's fighting for the beautiful woman that everybody's going to recognize. Otherwise, what's the use? Okay. That's my take on the story. Okay.
That's good.
So now, 5. I'm sorry. 7. Vayered. So he went down by the Isha, and he spoke to the young lady. Finally, he speaks. He has a nice shidduch. He went to take her for a cup of coffee, and Vatisha be'enei Shimshon, and she was just in his eyes. Good. So as Mezuzah David says, he spoke to the woman. Shimshon atzmo diber ima. The Mezuzah David is very specific. He himself spoke to her. Lahakir ba, to recognize in her, im he misakelet, if she has a brain. Let's see if you have a brain here. Do you have a brain? Okay. Vatisha be'enei Shimshon, and therefore, and she was just in his eyes. Gambazeh, also in this, not only was she beautiful, but she actually had a brain. She had chachma. She had wisdom. Okay, that's always nice. You go out, you see her, you're impressed by her. When she opens, and when you ask her what's her name, she says, "What? You know that's not for you." But apparently, this girl she was a conversationalist. Great. So Malbim also says he went down and spoke. Again, same sort of thing. He's now going down to see if she's just in his eyes. Gam mitzad shekala sichla madatem. Also from the way of her seichel, her knowledge and her traits, her character traits. It wasn't enough to know if she is smart, but also does she say please and thank you? In other words, what is her character trait like? When you go out with a woman, it's not enough to have a brain. You actually have to have proper midot, proper. Are you modest? Are you this? Are you that? What's going on with you? Ve'odat ahavata elav, and he was informing her love, and she would inform her love to him. Fine. And Tiyashar Be'inav, and so it's right in his eyes. Gam mitzad, also from this side. So fine. He went down to see what is she like. Does she have a brain? Does she have manners? And does she love him? No, does she like him? Do you want to go out with me? Do you want to marry me? And apparently from one shidduch, this is a wonderful love story here, one shidduch does it all. He finds it out and he says, great, done. Okay, that's what Vitiyashar, it was just in his eyes. Understand? Good?
So there's a wide range of meanings on that word.
Yep. Because the question is, he went down to see her, to speak to her, and it was just in his. She was just in his eyes. How does he say it? How do they translate that? Pleasing in his eyes. Okay, what was pleasing? So now they're telling you what was pleasing. This is not how we should all go on dates, by the way. Okay, but the truth is, that's how we do it. We see somebody, we want the introduction. Instead of, it's time? Okay, I'm sorry. Oh. Okay, we'll have to stop here.